I'm Eric Loy, and welcome to Loy Interviews. On this podcast, we talk with folks from the VTuber community on their channels, their talents, their stories, where they come from, and their plans for the future. And I'd like to welcome BelleRose to the podcast. Hi.
Hello.
And appreciate you coming on. If you would, please introduce yourself to everybody.
Yes, hello. I am BelleRose, but BelleRose is kind of just like the character that I play. Otherwise, online, I use the name Polahoko.
Mm-hmm.
I am a mature streamer who's recently gotten into VTubing stuff. I like to do a lot of video game type stuff. I like conventions. I like all the kind of typical nerd stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And in the last couple of years, I've really gotten into both making things in live 2D and I guess puppeting them for streaming would be a good way to put it.
Yeah, that's cool. Have you been an artist before this, or is this something that you just kind of picked up as you got into VTubing?
So I've drawn pretty much since I was in high school. I never have done it professionally. Every kind of like job opportunity that came up related to art just never really panned out. So I just do it in a hobbyist kind of way, and because I enjoy it and I like to challenge myself.
Yeah. Do you never took any classes for it or anything?
No. Well, I mean, I took a college class. College was art was one of my courses, but no, I never really took a traditional training drawing class.
So when you took that, was it positive or negative for you as far as how you did your art? Because some people go in there and think that they try to strip everything that you've already taught yourself and start you from scratch.
I think that in general, it's good to take an art class, even if it's what am I trying to say? It's good to learn fundamentals. It's good to learn fundamentals about form and shape and color, because there are certain patterns that are just generally appealing to people, certain patterns and color swatches. So I think I thought it was okay. Yeah.
Well, you took the one class and you didn't. They didn't it. Were you showing them what you had done before, and did they critique it?
No, I never did that.
Yeah, well,
I usually kind of kept that stuff to myself.
Yeah, well, not anymore.
Yeah, not anymore. Yeah.
So, what's it like to be able to kind of show those skills in what you're doing right now? Being able to kind of express them a little bit.
I think it's uplifting. I think it's because I have some friends that I show my stuff to, and they usually enjoy it and like genuinely enjoy it. I can tell. I've had people tell me that like I've made them laugh. I've had people tell me that they like my voice. I don't know why.
It's a good voice.
Thank you. But it's just it can be relaxing. It can be therapeutic. I think it's real nice to be able to do this in the internet for everything that it's brought to the world. I think it's really great for connecting.
Yeah. Every bad thing has got a few good things along with it. And even with VTubing, there's some things that I'm sure a lot of people could do without. But the thing that I always come back to is we get a chance to see a lot of talent and a lot of abilities that we normally would not have been able ever to see. It's such a huge amount of people showing us what they've got, and so that I can be jealous of everybody because I have no talent whatsoever. And for one,
I'm sure that's not true.
Oh, I could fall down pretty easy. That's a pretty good talent.
Oh yeah.
Not only showing that off, but people are becoming more in their own lives a little more courageous to show that talent off, because having that avatar or model gives you just enough hiding space.
Yeah, like I've talked about this before, but it's it's an interesting time because I was around when VTubing was not prevalent. I was around when what am I saying? When streaming was not prevalent.
Right.
Like the shit that we had to do just to play a game with your friend over Skype or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but it's becoming very mainstream. It's becoming very accessible, and that's giving a lot of people opportunities to really express themselves and to connect with other like-minded people. Like I think it's very good that it's accessible like that, because usually I'll say it, the circle has a lot of young people in it,
right,
and the young people, they've got a huge imaginations. Young people do.
That's true.
So to be able to have this thing, it's like, oh, this is my character, or this is my persona, this is something that I relate to. It's like that's a little piece of them that they've put out.
Yeah,
and I just think that's really neat.
I think I'm seeing more and more, and maybe just because I've talked to so many people at this point, but I'm seeing more and more people that are a little older than that get in, because they're more comfortable with the fact that they don't have to necessarily sign their name to it.
Yeah, well, yeah. Again, it's having that mask that you can put on and have like a barrier between the real you and the internet as a whole, because the internet can be mean.
Oh,
the internet could be really, really mean.
Oh yeah.
And I think it's good to have that buffer, but also it's just kind of fun to put on a mask.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can, like, if you've had a bad day or a bad week or a bad month or year, you can just kind of put the mask on a little bit and then just have some fun.
Yeah. You get to have a kind of a second. I'm going to use the term second life. I'm not referring to the actual Second Life.
No. Is that still around? Is that still in service?
It probably is somewhere on Club. It's what Club Penguin became.
Yeah.
But you have a kind of create your own universe, your own world, your own room, with people are coming to your place, and you have control of it.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That's a great way to put it. It's a space that you have control of. You have absolute control. You decide who can and can't come. You decide how it looks. You decide how you look. You decide what you do. Honestly, that's a great thing for people to have.
Yeah.
Because that's a really healthy outlet.
Yeah.
For people that don't have control otherwise.
Yeah. It can be. It can be a bad one.
it can be. Well, anything in moderation.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure if I tried hard enough, I could mess it up. but it's really, it's that chance, I think, for folks who aren't, the teenage, early 20s folks, to have that little tesseract, a little area they can go to that they can claim as theirs. They're not necessarily going to know the names of everybody who showed up there either. It's right. Their little getaway spot.
Yeah. And to speak on what you said earlier about how you're finding more and more people that are older than that into it, I know people that are in their 50s doing this. And they're looking for each other and they're finding each other.
Yeah.
Like, it is kind of bonkers. Because when I first started doing this, I first started it because I just wanted to learn Live 2D.
Right.
And see if I could do it. And it was just a gee whiz, I'll have some fun thing, because it was on, I think, a free trial period.
Right.
And at the end, I had a pretty nice model that had, it was doing some neat things.
Yeah.
And I was kind of at the crossroads. It's like, well, that was fun. Am I just gonna look at it, or am I gonna try using it?
Yeah.
And then that got me into the thoughts of like, well, is that appropriate? I'm clearly older than everybody in this circle. I'm gonna look like an outsider. I'm gonna look like somebody who's trying to put somebody, do something bad or put something over on somebody.
Yeah.
And I found some people that were my age, and it's like, wow, this is actually not that bad.
Yeah, it's like surprise, And I will speak for us 50 plus people,
Yeah.
and remind all of you young whippersnappers that we were the ones who were putting the quarters in the machines before you guys were even born. Okay.
We were the ones playing Whacked on Xbox.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, we
Not
invented
you.
it. So there you
Yeah,
go.
we invented Whacked on Xbox Live.
As I
We
actually,
invented
yeah, I actually, and this is an absolute true story. I had in my home a Pong for my
a Pong arcade machine.
a Pong a Pong for the television made by Sears,
Okay.
and
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
yes, so we had. You're talking about OG. That's pretty OG
Uh-huh.
there. So
Yeah, I remember because like back then Pong was a huge thing,
oh yeah,
and just anybody could make a Pong console.
oh they
Like
did too.
anybody.
But this was the actual Pong, the Sears Pong, and it had the.
Uh-huh.
And I'm imagining there are a lot of these young people who are jumping into like Call of Duty and shooting things before they see them that wouldn't have any idea how to play Pong. So there, you can't shoot it. I can't
I
play it.
said it, and I'm not taking it back.
Hey, get off my lawn, kids.
We had to when we wanted to play Pong, we had to go uphill in the snow
That's
both
right.
ways.
That's right. And we had to draw our own Pong ball, and we had to go hit it ourselves. Yeah, I don't remember anything else. Yeah, it was. But yeah, we don't. Just because somebody's like 55 or older doesn't mean that they don't know what video games are, for crying out loud.
Right. Well, I mean, it's kind of the idea right now that's becoming more prevalent, and I think it's really a great thing, is that your life doesn't end when you hit 30.
I hope not,
Like,
because
it's...
I'm way over time by now.
Yeah. One game that recently came out that has really kind of struck with me is, are you aware of Psychonauts?
Yes, I'm aware. I
Have
haven't
you
played
played
some.
Psychonauts games?
I have not, but I'm aware of them.
Okay, so the first Psychonauts game is about kids that are at a psychic summer camp.
Mm-hmm.
And the second game is like a continuation of that, where the kid who saves the camp goes to their like kind of like a spy headquarters.
Mm.
And the story kind of follows him, but it's also a story about older people.
Mm.
And it's a story about things that they've been through, how they kind of established the whole psychic kind of secret service that's there.
Right.
What they're doing now that they're older, like the traumas that they've been through and how they process it. Because all of them are going through their own sort of trauma that all goes back to this one event. And I thought that was just it's a really good game that has older people in it.
Mm.
And I don't remember very many games that have that kind of, looking at characters that are beyond like the prime protagonist age range.
Yeah. You don't have a whole lot of games where the main guy is over 35 and isn't already in a wheelchair or in a home or something.
Right, or isn't just like a side character. It's like, well, I've done my adventure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Please come over here and let me tell you a tale. That type of thing.
Yeah. Let me save your game.
Yeah. I'm the save character guy. Who's that guy in that?
It's a humble life.
I'm thinking of the guy from Diablo 2.
I can't really think of many other games that have such a focus on that, and that does it so like that it's played. It's a very goofy game, but it's played very straight.
Yeah. And that'll come out eventually. But that it's obvious that a lot of people that are the great majority are younger folks.
Yeah, obviously.
But they're also in this able to reach out to other age ranges and other good gravy, other countries, other continents, and it's made the world extremely small when it comes to that. And I tell folks all the time, when I started in radio, it was 1984. In order for me to talk to somebody from Singapore, like I've done on the show, I would have had to pay my Ma Bell about $1 million, and then it would have sounded like garbage. It'd have been on a telephone and through 6 different plugins between here and that nation. Nowadays, I just pick up the microphone in my room, and
You guys, you don't know what we went through on Skype.
oh
You just do not. Be glad for Discord.
yeah. I mean, the early
Um,
Skype was really Wild West.
it was, yeah.
Yeah,
Like, it kind of splintered off. Discord is what casual people and the gamers and just like for relaxing, they use that.
yeah.
But nowadays, I don't really even see businesses use Skype that much.
No, no. They
They're
have other.
going over to
They
computer solutions.
yeah. They either have their different software or they have proprietary software that they use.
Right.
And
But you said that you've done radio?
I was in radio for 35 years.
Really?
Yeah, I'm old.
You do have that radio voice, it seems.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it. That's what happened. I turned 15 and it happened.
Well, how did it happen? Stuff like that doesn't just
It
happen.
was like this. I was just walking down the street, and then the radio voice happened.
Yeah. Oh, it's well, okay, yeah.
I could sing in chorus, and then I couldn't sing in chorus anymore.
Uh-huh.
That was the limit of what I was able to do. But no, I always wanted to do radio, and it's one of the reasons why I'm doing this now because I haven't been in it for 5 years plus, and I just like talking with people, which is why I'm here.
Is it that you're retired?
No, I had to go make money.
Oh,
Local
okay.
radio in these days will not fill the bill.
Uh-huh.
I mean, this is an absolute true story. People can look it up. Twice in a row, I was named the state top radio sportscaster for the small market. 2 years in a row, and I was making $10 an hour.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
Yeah. So,
Like people really appreciate you, but they won't pay you.
yeah, no, not local radio these days. So that's why I'm
Oh.
doing. That's why I was working for the city now. Um, but all this time I've enjoyed video games. I enjoyed VTubers. I enjoyed YouTubers before that, and
Uh-huh.
everybody's just got such different stories and different backgrounds and different reasons for doing it. Your reason for getting into it, you just about tripped and fell into it.
I did kind of, yeah. It's
The
I
jury,
wanted to see if I could make something that could do the things that I wanted to do, and I did. And when I after I climbed that mountain,
yeah,
I was looking down and I was like, well, where do I go from here?
yeah, yeah. I'm going to build another mountain.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah.
Well, once you started, you know, dabbling into it and getting into it a little bit, what's kept you into it?
Um, I guess I should preface this by saying I am not. I would not what you. I'm not what you would call a professional VTuber. I'm not somebody who even streams regularly.
Yeah,
I kind of just stream whenever I want to because I have a full time job and I have other responsibilities.
stupid jobs.
Um, yeah, I mean, I've said it before. It would be awesome to go back to that period of time where just rich, oligarchs would find artists and they would be their patrons, and they would pay them to just hang around and be weird.
Yes,
It
yes,
was awesome.
yes.
But unfortunately, I do work a 9 to 5. But what kept me in it, I suppose, is I have some really good friends that are streaming. One of my friends goes by NJ Chef, is actually a VTuber who is in with my other friends in that kind of same streaming troupe who are not VTubers.
Mm,
So I gravitated towards Chef, and it's just they do some inspiring things with what they're doing.
yeah.
Honestly, I think what's keeping me in it the most is seeing people that are doing things that are completely unique, that
Mm,
are kind of pushing the limits of the media and the tools that we have.
yeah, yeah. There's a lot of different things. A lot of things I wouldn't have thought of. Um,
Yes, like there's one right now, I think it's Alpine Snow Time, which they are multi-talented. They are able to work 3D software and the Live 2D and
ooh,
all the other kind of bits and bobs that go into basically your own little mini studio production.
wow.
And they have created something that looks like um, like a stop motion claymation
Oh
character.
yeah, I've seen something like that. Seen something like that.
Yeah,
That's really amazing to me.
yeah,
That's going beyond the pale. That's going to spooky territory.
yeah.
And
But there are people like that. There are people like This Is Goblin, where they run a kind of interview show like what you're doing.
uh-huh.
But it's do you know Space Ghost?
Oh God, yes,
Space Ghost, but Coast to Coast.
yes,
I've likened it kind of like that because it has a very hand drawn animated kind of look to it.
yes.
Um,
I would be Commander Andy of
and
the Cosmos.
yeah, yeah. And I've come to take over your show.
I want a little brother.
Oh, Andy Merrill's on Blue Sky now, thank goodness.
Oh, good. Oh, good, good, good.
Yeah.
I miss hearing that voice.
What's that?
I miss hearing that voice on it every week.
Uh-huh.
It's,
Yeah, I do miss, yeah.
yeah,
He's I think he's getting better.
good.
Because like there was that period of time where everyone was just kind of looking on and seeing him post pictures of his, arms getting bitten by dogs because he has to he has to deliver packages for Amazon because he doesn't get any like
Voice work,
entertainment
so,
money
yeah,
right now.
It's tough. It's tough. I mean, it's so cyclical that business. You could be riding really high, and then suddenly you're not needed for any
Well,
particular time.
apparently, like, Adult Swim is Warner Brothers, right?
Hmm. I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, but apparently Warner Brothers just kind of screws over some of those people because, like, this is not the first instance of somebody who made something that's like vastly important to Cartoon Network and like gave them their identity to just being really down.
Oh yeah.
Like, I forget what his name is, but the voice actor for Frylock, back during when Aqua Teen Hunger Force was really popular,
Yeah.
he was homeless.
Yeah.
And Andy Merrill, who probably gave Cartoon Network their freaking identity,
Yeah.
making Space Ghost Coast to Coast by just bullshitting in a supply closet with a couple people, Martin Croker and George Lowe. Like, what would Cartoon Network be without them?
Oh my god.
And he's stuck delivering packages for Amazon. It
Yeah.
just sucks.
Three extremely silly people.
Yeah.
I mean,
And they all seem just kind of down on their luck. Like Martin Croker had to sell off some of his shit
yeah.
to just get by. It's like, I feel like if you've made a contribution like that, you should just win. Like,
Yeah.
you've won.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like you should be taken care of after that.
Absolutely, especially because it is a lot of what they're doing is voice acting, and there's still stuff they can do. George Lowe, for crying out loud, he should be doing a lot of stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
and it's ridiculous. I don't know. It's a very tough industry, and it can turn on you.
Yeah,
in a
yeah.
second.
And that's why, as much as I love art and I love drawing and that kind of media, I know personally I probably could not do that professionally.
Yeah. Would you take commissions though?
Even that I'm a little iffy on.
Mm.
Because I'm the kind of person where I find it hard to get myself motivated unless I'm emotionally invested in something.
Mm. And a paycheck wouldn't be enough emotionally investment?
Well, I guess a better way to put it is it's hard for me to get the thing done.
Oh, there you go.
Otherwise, like I need to. It's like if the passion isn't there, I find it hard to get it done.
We will find the truth on this show. We will dig deep to find the truth. So when you are on and you're streaming, what game are you playing? Certain types of games? What streams are you doing?
So honestly, when I reach out to people for collaboration, because I am the type of person where I'm not really all that good on my own. I'm at my best when I'm bouncing off of people.
Yeah.
But if I'm by myself, I'm usually playing just something that I think is interesting and I think needs to be showcased.
Mm.
I do a lot of indies. Just recently, I was playing Reciteer with somebody. That's the shopkeeper game.
Yeah, I saw that. I don't have any idea what that is. I saw the title screen, I think, and that's all I've seen of it. So it's a shopkeeper game?
Yeah, so Recettear is actually a pretty old game. I think it may have come out in 2007 or 2004.
Mm.
Um, and I believe it's one of the first Japanese games that got a localization ported to Steam.
Oh.
Um, and basically, it is kind of an action adventure RPG from the point of view of somebody who has an item shop.
Mm.
You are this girl called Reset, right? Reset, and her father has gone missing, or is like presumed dead, and her father had a lot of debt.
Mm.
So she owes this huge amount of money, and in order to help repay it, you're basically given a little accountant fairy called called Tyr, and Tyr is like your helper that like she helps you get set up with like how to sell things, how to stock, what all kind of little intricacies like that about running a shop, and also she takes payment from you every week
Mm.
in order to repay the debt, and the price of the repayment every week goes up.
Okay.
And the goal of the game is to manage your store in such a way that you can pay off all the debt.
Right.
And if a week goes by and you can't pay it, then they just take the shop. And
Yeah.
they take, because like your house is your shop, they take everything.
Right. Right. I just.
But there's also a twist where you're kind of talking to the people who go out and do the typical adventuring stuff, and you can go with them to kind of it's like the monsters won't attack you, they'll attack them.
Oh.
And you're just kind of along to, I guess, get some items with them. But they also come by your shop. Like, this is an interesting twist. Like, there's the first adventurer that you meet is a guy called Louis.
Okay.
And he's, like, very poor. He's always tight on cash.
Right.
And he can come by your shop, and you can buy things like swords and shields and all that kind of equipment. If the adventurer buys the thing, they use it in the dungeon next time you go with them.
Okay.
So there's like a little strategy element. Like, you could have really good swords that Louis, there's no way he could ever afford them. But if he comes by the shop and he's looking for a sword, you can say, well, you know what, Louis? I've known you for a little bit, and you seem like a good guy. I'm going to give you a special discount. And you can basically give the sword to him if you wanted to. Or, you know, the idea of the game is to sell stuff at a profit.
Right.
But you can take a loss so that Louis has some good stuff for when you go to the harder dungeons. It's a really interesting game.
That's a lot more nuanced than I would have expected.
Yeah.
Yeah. You kind of have to. You have to put a little spin on it and help the business, but help the business in the long term too.
Yeah, and there are different kind of like economy things as well. Like, there can be a scarcity of a certain item, so people are willing to pay more for it. Like, the prices of certain things can go down. There's like a kind of like shopping spree where you get a huge rush of people. I would recommend looking into it if it seems like something that you'd be interested in.
I will. I'll look into that for sure. So have you got anything that you got planned out here in the future? I mean, I know you say you're streaming kind of as the urge hits you, but as we come into the new year, have you got some plans for the channel?
I would like to get back into it because for a while, probably the back half of last year, I've had the urge to get to update to a new model. I've actually made all of my models. I make all my stuff.
Yeah.
The first one was okay. The second one was pretty good. It had some flaws with it. The third one is it's technically usable right now, but there are some, you know, now that I've made my third one and I'm learning some tips and tricks, I think that I just want to. It's almost just kind of fun to make the models, you know. But I don't have any specific plans. I would actually, you know, I lied. I want to work on my layouts.
Oh.
Because
presentation.
I want to kind of lean into like an RPG kind of aesthetic.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
And besides, you are an artiste now, and you're never going to be done. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're never going to be
Exactly.
satisfied with it. You're going to have version 16, and by then it's going to be a five-dimensional, fully functional human, and you're still going to want to tweak it a little bit.
Yeah, I will build a Tesseract and be like, I'd like to add a few more sides.
It's not. It doesn't have enough room on the inside of this Tesseract. I will give
Yeah,
it an
I'd like a
extra.
little bit more room.
I need another
But isn't
dimension.
that kind of like that's kind of like it is for every skill? Like you get to a point where you can step back and say, yeah, that looks pretty good. I'm pretty proud of that. And then you go back and see if you can push it a little further.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you also have to have motivation, which,
Yeah.
yeah, at this point, my motivation is, am I breathing in the morning? Yeah, that's pretty good. I'll go. I'll go with that.
Yeah, yeah, it's, I am at that age where I'm having, you know, my body's been around for a little bit. I may be a little bit out of warranty.
Yeah.
But
Uh,
yeah, it makes me feel good when I'm able to do that stuff.
yeah. Well, I mean,
And of course, with the people that I hang around with, we always have a good time.
yeah. That's with that. Are the people in your chat, given that you're not, doing like three times a week, uh, streaming, are they coming back for you? Have you been able to build a little bit of a community?
There are a few people that know me.
Mm,
I think most of that, honestly, is coming from me being very active on social media.
mm,
Um, and I actually have a main account for myself, and then I have an account that's just the character.
yeah.
Um, and I play around on that account. I make jokes.
Yeah.
Uh, I share facts. I just kind of play up the bit a little bit.
Yeah.
And people seem to like that. I actually have more followers on that than I have on my main account.
They like the character better than they like you.
Well, that's okay because I can kill them if I want to.
Well, yeah, you do have that advantage, yes.
Yeah. So, I could just flip the table
Yeah.
and be like,
Oh, oh,
if people don't like me, then I'm just gonna leave.
yeah. Oops, sorry, that character's dead now.
Yeah, yeah, I killed them. They're gone. They're forever. They're not coming back.
Erase everything. They're gone. Sorry, bye.
Yeah, yeah.
It's good to hear your take on this, and it's funny how you've kind of fallen into it, but it's also good to hear that you're enjoying yourself with it.
Yes, yes. And honestly, I need a little bit of escapism in my life.
Mm,
I just kind of need it.
yeah. Well, I don't. No one's going to blame you for that.
Yeah.
This is my escape. Um,
Yeah.
I enjoy it
Yeah.
very much. I enjoy being able to talk to people all over the place and inflict myself on so many people. It's fun for me,
Well, I
and
mean, it's been a pleasant conversation so far. You seem like a good conversationalist, which is not a surprise considering you've been in radio for 35 years.
yeah, yeah. Well, there's a lot of people who've been in radio for 35 years that don't know what the hell they're doing. I can tell you that.
Well,
Yeah,
sounds like kind of an inside baseball
yeah, a little
thing.
inside, it's a little high up in the chin there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're the like no names mentioned whatsoever, but um yeah, they're the people that are still in it making money.
Yeah.
But really, it's just a lot of fun for me to talk to folks, and it's too many different stories. I could have done a podcast with politics or sports, but everybody's done that, and I know
Yeah.
all the answers to their questions
I mean,
already.
does that also really bring any joy to the world?
Not to me, and hopefully,
Yeah.
even if I was successful doing it, I wouldn't be enjoying it.
Right.
And who? I mean, there's
So is it just like do you like meeting interesting people? Is that why you like it?
yeah, yeah. I want to know about them. I'm curious. I have that natural curiosity for wanting to know what their look at something. Why do you do this? Why do you do that? And then it's so many people are doing interviews now. You see on television, especially, at whichever
Uh-huh.
network you want to choose, and they're asking people questions because they already know the answer they want.
Uh-huh.
And if they don't get that answer, they'll keep asking the same question until they get the answer they want. I hate that.
Yeah. That kind of disingenuous line of questioning.
Oh yeah, or they'll interview other interviewers, which like we're talking to our network's Bob Smith, who has an opinion. Who cares what their opinion is? I'm going to know from the horse's mouth. People don't tune in to a radio interviewer show to hear what the interviewer has to say about it. They hear for the guests.
Right.
And
so I actually do. I have done interview shows myself.
Yeah, I can imagine. You got a great voice for it.
Oh, well, thank you. Do you really mean that?
Yeah, I do actually. Yeah.
Huh. People have said that.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, you
Anyway.
do. Absolutely, and very conversational. It's very good.
Yeah, it's so I call it Garden Side Chat, and I use my VTuber for it, and I usually invite another VTuber over.
Yeah.
And we just kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
Like I've got maybe a couple questions that I like to ask people, but otherwise it's kind of whatever they want it to be.
Absolutely.
Like sometimes they go full mask off and just like kind of bullshit about like what's happening in the media or what's happening in video games, anime, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And some people have come on and they have gone completely just putting the mask on and playing up the bit. And I like that too. Like they're both good.
Yeah.
And it kind of takes on like an improv feel.
Oh yeah, yeah. I haven't written down a question yet, and I don't like it. I don't like doing that. I want to hear what somebody else has to say and respond to it. And you miss a lot when you're not paying attention. To what the other person is saying, and a lot of cues and other people have other ways to do it. And they're fine with it. Fine. I personally like to hear when VTubers interview other VTubers, because you guys have a different angle to ask the questions. So you're slicing the apple from a different angle to get it, and that's good. Cutting
the cucumber lengthwise.
Yeah. I don't eat those things, but if other people do, that's fine. And it's sometimes the point of view of the interviewer is just as important as the point of view of the person they're interviewing as to what kind of questions come out.
Right.
Their experiences. So anyway, why am I talking about this? I'm going to talk about you. Stop switching it on me, dang it. Duck season.
I'm here to be an obstacle for where you want to be. If you want to be somewhere, I'm going to take you somewhere else.
Well, folks, you check out what BelleRose got going. We're going to have as many links as we can put up on the description for this interview. And I do want to have you back as soon as we can. And we'll talk more about what's going on. And when you get that talk show back up and going, because I want to hear it. Okay?
Okay. Yeah.
Let me know what's going on with that, and we'll promote the plant out of it. We'll plant the seeds for it to grow.
Our friendship is blossoming.
That's right. Thank you so much for coming on. It's an absolute pleasure to talk with you, and we'll do it again real soon.
Thank you very much. This has been really pleasant, and it's been interesting.
Thank you for listening to Eric Loy Interviews. Join us again next time when we talk to another member of the always interesting VTuber community.